Join me as I dive into some seriously creepy tales that are sure to keep us both up at night. Can you handle the terror, or will you be too scared to sleep? Nightmares have a way of tapping into our deepest, darkest fears, don't they? They're like a sneak peek into the dark corners of our minds, revealing the things that scare us the most. And yet, despite how frightening they can be, nightmares are a universal human experience. Everyone has them, and everyone can relate to the feeling of waking up in a cold sweat, heart racing, and that lingering sense of unease that can stick with you long after you've woken up. Have you ever had a nightmare that felt so real it took you a few moments to shake off the feeling of unease when you woke up? Well, you're not alone. Nightmares can be incredibly vivid, often blurring the lines between reality and fantasy. And it's not just the content of the nightmare itself that's scary, but the way it can affect our sleep patterns and mental health. If you've ever had a nightmare that's left you feeling anxious or on edge for days, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like your subconscious is trying to send you a message, but the problem is, it's often impossible to decipher what that message is. One thing's for sure though, nightmares have a way of making us feel vulnerable and exposed, leaving us wondering if we're truly in control of our own minds. Research suggests that nightmares can be triggered by everything from stress and anxiety to certain medications and sleep disorders. And yet, despite the many factors that can contribute to nightmares, there's still so much we don't know about the way our brains process and interpret these nocturnal terrors. One thing's for certain though, when we're in the grip of a nightmare, it can feel like our brains are playing a cruel trick on us, conjuring up monsters and demons that can haunt us long after we've woken up. So, what does it say about us exactly? Are we all just closet masochists, secretly enjoying the thrill of being scared out of our wits? Or is there something deeper going on? Something that speaks to our deepest fears and anxieties? Whatever the answer, one thing's for sure. Nightmares have a way of tapping into our deepest, darkest fears, revealing the things that scare us the most. Speaking of scary, have you heard that one about the woman who was haunted by a recurring nightmare about being chased by a dark figure? The twist: she had that exact same dream every night for years. And it wasn't until she started journaling about her dreams that she realized the dark figure was actually a manifestation of her own subconscious trying to process the trauma of a childhood experience. Or how about the guy who woke up every morning feeling like he was being suffocated by some invisible force? Well, that turned out to his nightmares were actually a symptom of a sleep disorder that was causing him to wake up multiple times a night. If you're anything like me, you're probably already feeling a little uneasy, wondering what dark secrets your own subconscious might be hiding. Am I right? Well, okay, let's take it up a notch then. There's this one tale from a Japanese folklore about a yokai, or a supernatural creature that's said to haunt the dreams of the living. They call it the Baku, and it's said to feed on nightmares, growing stronger with each one it devours. The more you struggle in your sleep, the more it feeds, until eventually it becomes strong enough to cross over into the waking world. But what really gets me is the idea that our nightmares might not just be random, meaningless fears, but actual messages from our subconscious trying to tell us something about ourselves. Maybe the Baku is just a symbol of our own deep seated fears, eating away at us from the inside out. Or maybe, just maybe, it's something more. Maybe it's a reminder that our nightmares are trying to tell us something. If only we'd listen. So, what do you think? Are you ready to face your fears and confront the darkest corners of your own mind? I know I am. Let's dive deeper into the world of nightmares and see if we can uncover the secrets that lie within. Recapping the spine tingling tales we've shared tonight, it's clear that nightmares have a way of tapping into our deepest fears, revealing the dark corners of our minds. Whether it's the recurring nightmares of trauma, the symbolism of folklore, or the psychological significance of our darkest fears, one thing's for sure: nightmares are a universal human experience that can leave us feeling vulnerable and exposed. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the heart of darkness. If you've got a nightmare story of your own you'd like to share, please leave it in the comments below. And if you're feeling brave, be sure to check out my next video where we'll be exploring even more spooky tales that'll keep you up at night. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell, or you might just find yourself facing your own darkest fears alone in the dark. Good night and sweet dreams. Or should I say, sweet nightmares.